up and it's too dark, it's too light out here. They got to do everything before the sun comes up. Y'all remember that time, huh? I ain't the only one in here by myself. I ain't by myself. Paul was in darkness and didn't even know it. That hatred in his heart against these Christians had started festering, and he was in this darkness, but he didn't realize that he needed light. His lifestyles and his intentions were now being exposed by the light of Christ. And he asked, and this is what Jesus asked Saul, and I liked it. He said, "Why do you kick against the pricks?" In other words, why do you persecute those who follow me? Because when you're bullying them, you're bullying me. I like this. The bullies don't really realize it. Most bullies bully people that are smaller than them. Ones they think they can lick. But what they fail to realize is that the person that they beating up on may have a big brother. And that happened to me in school one time. They were picking on my sister. And I was 3 years older than my sister. And my sister said, "I'm going to get my brother on you." So a sixth grader shows up in the third grade class, and some attention needs to be paid. That's what Jesus is saying. He's saying, you picking on my brothers, my sisters. You're bullying them, and now I'm here to stand up for them. Now watch this. There's no bigger person than Jesus Christ. I don't care how big the bully is. He doesn't have as much power as Jesus Christ. Doesn't have as much strength. That's why when folk bullying you, just pass it on to your big brother. You don't have to fuss and argue. You don't have to fight back and try to be still, because the Lord will fight you. Pass it on to your big brother, Jesus Christ. That's what he's telling them in the text. He's saying, why are you kicking against the pricks? That's a no-win battle. Now, I don't know about y'all, but we had a sticker bush outside my house. And we definitely tried to stay away from that bush as much as we possibly could. Because we knew if somebody pushed you over into that prick bush, you're going to get pricked. He's asking Saul, why do you keep doing this to my folk and my belief? See, Saul didn't really believe that Jesus Christ was the Messiah. He believed in God, he believed in the law, but he didn't believe that Jesus had died for his sins. And because of his unbelief, he started letting his hatred move him to persecute these Christians. He was a bully, and now he was being blinded by the light of Christ. I don't know about you, but I'm thankful for the light of Christ in my life. Thankful that one day the light shined on me. While I was in darkness, it showed me that I was going in a path of destruction, so I had to turn and move in the path of righteousness because the light shined on me. Thank God for the light. And finally, he's a bully of believers, and now he's being blinded by the light. But this is the good news today, that Paul goes from a bully to a believer. It's in verse 6, and he, trembling and astonished, said, watch this. In verse 1, he was what? Threatening. He was breathing out threatenings, and now in verse 6, he's doing what? He's trembling. That shows you right there he has no power. He's going from threatening to tremble. See, that's why you have to be still and let the Lord fight your battles. Them folk that's breathing out, threatening things against you, saying evil things against you, don't worry about it. Because eventually, if you're standing for the Lord, those breathings of threatenings will go to trembling. Yeah, if you're standing for the Lord, eventually those threats will be trembled. They'll tremble. Other people will tremble. So he says, and he trembling and astonished said, Lord, what wilt thou have me to do? The Lord said unto him, arise and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do. The Lord calls this bully to be a believer. This extreme makeover, this internal change. And you know, that's what really gets us. Because we remember what the person used to be like. We remember how they used to talk. We remember the places we used to see them in. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We remember how they used to react. And we want to keep in our mind this image that this person is still the same way. But the text tells us that Jesus tells Saul that he must arise and go into the city, and the man, you'll find out what you must do. And because Paul came a believer, we have about this much of the Bible to thank him for. God can use any and everybody. I know we want these people that are squeaky clean. I know we like these people that have no skeletons in their closet. But I got news for you. If you keep digging long enough and deep enough, all of us got skeletons in the closet. And all of us have issues in our past, but it's not the vessel. And Paul wrote this. It's what's inside the vessel that's important. Jesus called Saul, changed his name to Paul, and created within him the ability to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, to build churches, and to do all these great things in his name. He went from a bully to a believer. What a wonderful change in my life has been wrought since Jesus came into my heart. And that's what I want you to think about today when you leave here. Do a self-evaluation of your own extreme makeover. Are there some things internally that I need to change? Am I too mean? Am I too ornery? Do I always want my way? Do I gossip too much? Do I hate anybody? It's time for an extreme makeover. When you meet Jesus, whether on the Damascus Road, one Sunday morning in church, walking down the street in despair, Jesus can change your life. If you let him. Get that hatred out of your heart. Get that animosity out of your heart. Get that thought of gossiping out of your mind. Down talking other folk. Selfish intentions and selfish ways. It's time, spend just as much time on the outside, inside, that you do on the outside. And God knows we spend a lot of time and money on the outside. Since Jesus came into my heart, floods of joy on my soul, like a sea billows roll. Since Jesus came into my heart,